Hello, so I decided to finally make today the day that I make my first book related video on YouTube. I don't know if I'll actually put this up. I'm really scared, but I'm also really excited. And I just thought, well, let's do it and let's see if this turns out like any good. So you see all those, I'm Anna, by the way, you see all those tags go around with like new to booktube and stuff. I decided not to do that because, well, you can probably guess why I wanted to try this out. Like, the community's fun, books are fun, it's fun. So I just tried to do some sort of recap of everything I read this year. Like, really fast, I won't go into everything, and if it's just like, I like this book, just forgive me, because, well, I really don't want to do that, but I just really want to go through everything, and it's all right here. And I just thought, well, what better way to inform you what I'm about than to talk about what I read. So I'll just first shortly mention what I'm currently reading. First book is I'm finally reading Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I just procrastinated reading this for years because I really don't like romance. Romance, not romance. But it's so funny. I'm only like 14 pages in, so I really can't say anything about this except that up until now, it's hilarious. And I'm reading Kafka's Metamorphosis, and I can't say anything about that either yet because I'm only a short bit in it, but I just wanted to mention them. I wanted to mention this cover, which said "Change really bugged him," which I think is hilarious. But I don't have a lot of time, so I decided let's get into that. The books I read in January: Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, George Orwell's Animal Farm, Death Note by Tsugumi Ohba, Douglas Adams' A Restaurant at the End of the Universe, and Edgar Allan Poe's Telltale Heart. I won't say too much about this one. It was quite good, not totally for me, not yet at least, but I'll probably reread it. This one, not as good as the first one. Great first sentence with, in the beginning the universe was created. This has made a lot of people very angry and is widely being regarded as a bad move. I messed up the last bit, but it's about something about that. It's the language in times is really great. It's really funny, but also some of the events are just hilarious. Like the man talking, the spaceship which won't run because it's trying to figure out how to make tea. But between the funny things, I found it really boring, actually. So, well, it was just 3 stars for me. Because, well, at times I really enjoyed it. I haven't laughed as hard until, well, now reading Pride and Prejudice. Death Note is about a straight-A student who finds a notebook. And it says, if you write names in there, you'll kill these people. So he writes names. And he gets kind of a god complex. I really enjoyed this, but I also already watched an anime, so I know what it's about. And I probably know, like, at least for a while, the way it's going to continue. So I'm not, like, immediately going to buy the next volume, even though I really would like to. But there's so much I want to buy, so much I want to read, and it's quite expensive and a really short read every time. So it's just a bit like, eh. Then Animal Farm, George Orwell, great book. I really love George Orwell's writing and just his composition of plots. I'm not really someone who knows a lot about history, so I can't say too much about the comparison, even though it's obviously there. But I really loved the first book that was Marx, basically. But yeah, for the rest, writing was great, and plot was great. Very good ending. But, well, yeah, I think I couldn't, like, enjoy it as much as I would have if I knew all that history. I'm not that much of a history person yet. I hope someday I will get into history, but yeah, 5 stars, by the way. It was really great. Okay, so then Brave New World. Kids are really excited, like... Okay, Brave New Worlds by Aldous Huxley, classic dystopian novel about, actually, it's like the country to 1984. It's very... everyone's controlled by society, but through pleasure. And it was really good, especially in the part where they like have a reservoir with people outside of society and they just live their normal lives, which I found really interesting. But what I disliked about this book was, even though it was really good, the writing wasn't really for me. I just didn't really feel with it, and it was just a bit bland. But well, that's just a matter of taste, I guess. The main character was also, I didn't really like him. I think he was supposed to be disliked a bit, maybe. I mean, in the beginning, everyone was, oh, he's so weird because he's not conforming to society. And I just thought, like, and then I obviously loved him because, well, society's messed up. If there's one person that's not liking that, it's great. But I just, at some point, it's just, you just felt that he was actually still like being controlled in some sense by society, which of course is just a mark of good writing on Huxley's side, but it just made him it's dislikable for me. And well, I think that's just good writing again, so I gave this 5 stars. It was incredible, but maybe it wasn't as much for me as I'd hoped, because like Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury and Almost 1984 are like some of my favorite books. But anyway, the next books I read were in February. These ones. Well, not this one actually. The first one was with RG's Book Cult, which is her Goodreads book group, and it's very enjoyable. First book we read was Oscar Wilde's Picture of Dorian Gray. I really loved the ending, which completely made the story a whole. It made the story 10 times better, and I can't wait to reread it someday. The language was beautiful. It's about a man who sells his soul for eternal youth and eternal beauty, basically. And well, in the beginning, it's just like, okay, but that's it's also really gay. It's just a good read, but at some point it becomes really dark, and then the good stuff starts happening. So if you haven't read that, I'd really recommend it. Then there's Ken Kesey's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's about a bunch of people who live in a mental asylum, and what I really liked about this book, I really loved it in general, but one of the things I particularly loved was the perspective from which it was told, which was, well, obviously from the main character, but he was in a certain situation, like if you've read it, the whole death thing, which made it so interesting, and also just his like mind was kind of, well, kind of strange, really. It's been a while, but it's really good, and it's really clever how everything's done from that perspective. And yeah, for a start, I really enjoyed it, but maybe I'll come back at that someday, because I really actually have a lot to say about that. Then there's Foucault's Parrhesia, or Fearless Speech, actually, which is about, well, Parrhesia, which is the Greek word for fearless speech, and it's about his, it's a bunch of lectures by Foucault about the principle of fearless speech and his philosophical principle of that, and just how that was used in Greek society and through Greek plays. And it's really interesting to see the dynamics between men and women, and just in general to see all the social dynamics in the Greek society. So yeah, really like that one as well. It was a very good year up until then, because, well, the next month I read this, And I must say that these two were quite good. This one was absolutely horrible. Actually, it's already started when I bought it. I paid like almost the full price for it, and the front was a bit damaged, so I got a little discount. But then I opened it, and there was a mosquito splashed in it, which was, well, quite dramatic for a book. Like, just to open it and see blood and stuff. But fortunately, it wasn't this book, because I really hated it. It's about 3 women who rise up in showbiz in New York and then just crash down in all their different ways. But I really did not like the portrayal of women and the dependence on men, which was just, it didn't stop, you know. It was written by a woman. It was written by Jacqueline Susan. So I thought, I was like, actually, I read somewhere like, oh, it's a feminist. There was one particular scene which was, I mean, the women had some sort of own will, but in some situations, like the one I'll be talking about, but still, there was the main character, and this man who like really wanted to be her boyfriend or her fiance, and she was like, no. And he just kept on, oh, well, you'll like me eventually. It's just okay. Just come meet my parents. And it was just continued like that. And she was no, and, oh, it's okay. I'm not worrying. Why should I worry? And then she dated someone else, and he just flipped out. And I was just like, this was like my first non-school 1-star read. It was. This one won't go into this too much. My first Kafka was this, and it was quite good, a bit vague. I don't think I really understood it, but I don't know what I did not understand, but probably a whole lot. But it was really good. I would recommend it. Then I read my first Bret Easton Ellis, which was the first book he wrote, which is called Less Than Zero, and it's just like really nihilistic. And I really enjoyed the whole "oh, nothing matters" vibe because, well, there wasn't a particular plot. I mean, I can't even remember what happened, but I know while reading that I also was just nothing's happening, so it's not a real big thing. But anyway, it was just really enjoyable up until the point that really disturbing scenes were there. And the main character was just, I mean, I think it served the purpose of showing how little the main character cared. It was just, oh, yeah, I don't even care if people are tortured and raped and murdered and shit. And it was just, oh, this is so unpleasant to read, because it still felt like it didn't really serve a purpose in the book. And I mean, disturbing scenes can be good if they serve proper purpose for a book, and here I did not feel it did. So that was why I gave it like less stars than I otherwise would have, but still I would recommend it if you're into the whole nihilistic vibe. Okay, then I started reading a whole lot less because I started reading bigger books and having a busier life, actually. This was in April, so I read this 3 books. But the first one was Misery by Stephen King. Stephen King read a whole lot of books, and this is my second Stephen King. But it's basically about a man who is a writer, and he finishes manuscript, so he's all happy, and he drinks some champagne, and then goes to his like advisor person, crashes his car, gets saved by his #1 fan. And then there's just chaos issues because she basically kidnaps him, and the whole, she drugs him, and I won't spoil anything, but it was very good, and I would definitely recommend it. I also read this month, by the way, a short poems by Roald Dahl called Dirty Beasts. It's really good, really short, really enjoyable. If you have it lying around, like I apparently did, I would definitely recommend to pick it up sometime, some like 10 minutes, but it was like really fun. Then I read my first Philip K. Dick Minority Report. It sounded really good. I actually did not know these were short stories until in the second chapter. I just started to think, oh, this really has so little to do with the first chapter, and then it turned out to be different stories. But anyway, I found this quite bland. The writing was quite boring, even though I really loved the plot. So it was kind of a dilemma, because on one side, he wrote all the plots I never thought I would read, and I always hoped for. But his writing just didn't appeal to me. I think I'll pick up something else by him. Hope his writing is better there. Some stories were just horrible, some were good. Anyway, then for the book cults, Valley of the Dolls was one of those as well, by the way, but I don't think I said that. But we read In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. Really loved the writing, really loved the plot, really loved this book. You really started to... It's non-fiction about a murder. You read from the murderer's perspective, and you really start to feel for him. And I was just, what's happening? No, he can't be... Wait, he can't be... What? I mean, he can't be killed because, well, you shouldn't kill people anyway, but, like, I was just sitting there, what's happening? Why am I, like, feeling for him? But it was a really strange read. Then, in May, I actually did not finish any book, because 1, I had exams, 2, I was reading It by Stephen King. And it was really long. I'm a really slow reader. But I finished it only a couple of days ago. It was really good. Might like go in depth about it a bit more someday. Not now, but I've rarely ever felt so much for characters as in this one. It's, oh my god, I care so much for them. The ending, I heard only bad things about it, but I really loved it. Won't spoil anything. Like the ending, not the weird scenes ending. Anyway. The last book I read was Pigtails by Marie Darrieussecq. And basically it was like about a woman who works as in a boutique as a high-class escort and then changes into a pig, and it's just a really absurdist story. Don't really have a lot to say about it, I think. It was okay, it wasn't really that much special, but it was also really particular, so maybe one day I'll talk about it more. But anyway, this was kind of a recap. I hope it was a bit clear. I hope it was anything. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye bye.